Good morning, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. In today's video, we are going to be channeling a twin flame reading for the Twin Flame Collective. So if you would like me to channel a specific message for you and your situation, be sure to like this video and also double check that you are subscribed, because by being subscribed to this channel, you are actually virtually signaling your presence to me energetically, and that means it's easier for me to pick up on your energy and channel more specific information and messages for you and your situation. Wow, there's been a lot of intense energies recently, over the last few weeks especially. This has been predicted by a lot of twin flame readers who have been talking about some of the shifts that we are beginning to feel as twin flames, and even beginning to see visibly, either within ourselves or within our connection in our lives. And this will really pick up and continue through the spring and the summer and all the way really to next fall. Yeah, with strategy in the upright position. I heard forward motion. It's like right now is a time of forward motion. Specifically with appreciation in the reverse. Specifically in regards to our values and priorities here, and the values and priorities of the masculine. That word reprioritization has been coming up a lot for the masculine energy. I heard finally seeing what's really important, but this clarity on what's important to the masculine has really been pushed through his spiritual awakening, which has been going on for a while now, but is really beginning to take hold in an even stronger way. And as this masculine continues this process of reprioritization, really what's happening is I just keep hearing clarity, clear sight, finally seeing things clearly. So there could be some situation in the past that the masculine is going back into and getting more clarity about within themselves. I heard self-evaluating. So if you, as the divine feminine, if you are the divine feminine listening, if you and your masculine have been through some storms in the past, because storm warning reversed came out here, and really what I heard with this card reversed is like looking back on storms but seeing them in a new light. And metaphorically, these storms could be a conflict, disagreements, point of confusion or issue between the two of you. I see the masculine going back into these experiences within his own mind and seeing them in a new light. And really what he's seeing here with deceit reversed is the truth. It's like there's something about these storms you went through in the past, or these storms that he went through in his life, because I know that some of you listening may not have connected physically yet in the physical world with your twin flame. But regardless, the collective masculine is looking back at, for some, these are traumas that happened earlier in his life. For others, these could be relationship issues, personal issues, life issues. But I feel that in the past there was I heard denial of responsibility for some masculines. And of course, as I'm speaking here, yin yang reversed and healer of the ages, importantly, the yin-yang card is not reversed. It is in the upright position. And I say this is so important because this is the number one twin flame card in the deck. And when this card comes out in the upright position, this is a very, very strong sign of twin flames coming into alignment. And specifically, I'm seeing that this masculine, through his spiritual awakening, through this inner work I see him going through, whether this is happening consciously or subconsciously, and we will get into the details on that later on. But regardless, this healing is bringing you together, the divine masculine and divine feminine. I literally see these, it's like two glowing orbs of energy that are kind of moving past each other, swinging towards each other, then pulling away. And it's like that is representing the divine masculine and divine feminine energies. In the past, it was like there may have been this feeling of kind of two ships passing in the night, like you were coming close to things working out or to things coming together in the physical. And then there was this pulling away, potentially for some, even a separation. But I feel that beginning to balance out, and ultimately there is this powerful coming together happening. However, there is still some healing work to do for the masculine, with Healer of the Ages reversed still coming out here. It's like this coming together is really being catalyzed through the deeper level healing of the masculine at this time. But I do still see there are some negative attachments still potentially coming up. I heard triggers. So there may have recently been a little bit of triggering, either that you felt within yourself or that went back and forth between you and your twin, if you are connected or interacting in the physical world. But with Blossoming Abundance reversed, I heard fear of losing you. I strongly feel that there's a masculine here who is terrified of losing the divine feminine. But ironically, I hear that for some divine feminines, this could seem like a strange message, because in some cases, the masculine may have done things to actually push you away in some sense. But this is really coming back to the abandonment wounds that they've needed to heal, because as long as there is this intense fear of abandonments, and a card just came out, there are, in this card is constraints, there are constrictions, there are constraints. As long as the masculine is fearing abandonment, he is always going to be held back, or really what I'm hearing is holding back, because some of you, if you are the divine feminine on the other side of this, you may literally have felt as though your masculine was holding back, or that might have been how you described it. Like, I feel like you're just holding back, whether it's holding back information, holding back your emotions, which I feel could be the strongest dynamic of holding back coming out here, holding back one's emotion. But this is coming from a space of being afraid of rejection, but even at a deeper level, being afraid of being abandoned. So this masculine, he was so terrified of losing you that in the past, he held himself back in whatever way. And ultimately, for many cases in the divine feminine collective, there was this withdrawal of your energy. There was this pulling away, and potentially for some, even a separation, because of the way in which this masculine did hold himself back. But again, all of this is being healed on a really deep level here. With Healer of the Ages reversed, this card really speaks to a masculine who is in the trenches of his healing. And I am going to see if I can pull a few cards from the Love Word Scramble. The words factor and two came out here. A factor of two. Interesting. Let's see if I can channel more information on that. Also, the words village, Dutch, and gate came out, if that connects with anyone specifically. For those of you who are new, the Love Word Scramble is a tool I use to channel specific words to bring clarity to specific individuals, but this will not resonate with everyone, especially these specific words. So use extra care in really only taking the words that connect with you personally. And really throughout these readings, I usually say this at the beginning, but only take the messages that connect with you personally, because I do channel for many different twin flame connections. And although we do share some of the same collective energy shifts, the way in which that energy manifests for us will depend on our unique set of individual circumstances and soul intentions with our twin flame. Rest and rejuvenation in the upright position is coming out here. I feel that with the number 19, that might be significant to someone. This also signifies to me that I heard sleeping in. There could be a divine masculine who's been sleeping a lot lately, literally getting more physical rest, healing from burnout. There could be some divine masculines who went through a period in their life where they really burnt themselves out. I'm hearing specifically for the masculine I'm connecting with here, this was burnout associated with work or with something to do with, I'm hearing the system, the 3D so-called matrix of our world, like they were doing what they felt they were supposed to do or what society was telling them to do or what they felt they had to do, but they never really paused to ask themselves, is all of this burnout, is all of this direction that I'm pushing in so hard? For some, I'm hearing like breaking my body. It's like there is literally a physically taxing element to either the work that they do or that they've done in the past, or simply it was the heaviness of the energy of certain situations they remained in, because again, there was this feeling of I have to stay here no matter what it does to me. I can't really be thinking about caring for myself or resting. But this masculine, although I'm getting this heaviness on my shoulders, like metaphorically, this masculine was carrying a lot on his shoulders for a long time. And there's this feeling of taking a deep breath, like finally releasing, finally letting go, finally beginning to heal from that period of burnout. Although I feel that for many masculines, this hasn't necessarily began shifting in a visible way in the physical world. If anything, if you are interacting a lot with your twin and you are the divine feminine, you may notice that your masculine is taking more time to be at peace with himself, to rest, to relax, or even sleeping more frequently. But for most, I feel that these changes right now are happening invisibly. It again is going back to that reprioritization happening for the masculine with journey in the upright position. What kind of, I heard spiritual journey. What kind of spiritual journey is this masculine being taken on? That's funny. The words hunt, go, and prepare came out from the love word scramble. With the word hunt, I got this imagery of a divine masculine who for a long time lived in a very unawakened state. So he may have been interacting with his divine feminine, but there was either this undervaluing of this feminine or a feeling of blindness to the connection because he simply wasn't awakened enough at the time to see it for what it truly was. But now there's this feeling of spiritually waking up in his body for the first time. And I just felt the power and intensity of that awakening for the masculine. It's like a buzzing, a roaring of energy through his being. And suddenly it's like, wait a second, I need to go hunt for my divine feminine who I now remember, who I now consciously remember. It's like I remember who you are and I'm now searching, I'm kind of longing for you. But once again, this could be a bit of a confusing energy. If you have been connecting for a while, I'm hearing it's like you aren't, although you may not realize it yet, divine feminine, if you have been interacting with your masculine for a while, and then there was some period of separation or disconnect or something along those lines, know that the masculine you are going to be interacting with, when he does come back into your physical existence, or when you do reconnect physically, you are going to, in a sense, be reconnecting with an entirely different person. Not that it's not going to be the same soul, but that this masculine is really, again, with that word prepare, it's like he's being spiritually tempered, spiritually prepared for your coming together in a way that is, I'm hearing like changing him down to the cells of his being. Like you may even notice some of these visible differences in your masculine where he just looks happier or looks more at peace, or from a soul perspective, you would say he looks more like himself, the way he truly is at a soul level, the person that I've always seen within him. Blossoming abundance in the reverse position. Yeah, I'm hearing this masculine. It's like he's planting the seeds of his future self. It's like there is this feeling of powerful change that is still a seed beneath the earth. So once again, as I've been channeling in recent readings, this may not be coming up in the physical. It may not be fully visible for you yet in the physical, but it's really beginning to reach that breaking point for the masculine, where the changes are going to start to become something that you can more so see, or at the least really begin to sense in your being as the divine feminine on the other side of this. So in the extended version of this reading, I am going to be channeling more information on specifically what kinds of changes are taking place within the masculine, both the visible and the invisible, and how these changes are affecting him. And if it comes up, potentially how it's affecting your physical 3D connection as well. So the link to the extended version of this reading is in the pinned comment and description box. If you are feeling resonance with those messages and wanting some more information, it's funny, earlier the word go came out. I said the words hunt, go, and prepare came out when we were speaking about this masculine's awakening, this shift, this kind of journey that they are on now spiritually that is beginning to also become this journey toward the divine feminine, closer to the divine feminine physically in the 3D as well. And with the word go, I heard leaving behind things that are not aligned with this new version of self. Yeah, with walking away in the reverse, it's like, I never thought you would walk away. So there could be a masculine looking at a feminine who did disconnect, pull away, or literally walk away, and they're in some period of separation. And it's almost as though he took this situation or took her for granted because he didn't think that she was going to ever disconnect or raise her standards in this way. And now it's like this masculine is realizing, it's like this energy of letting someone go at first, but then realizing you made a huge mistake. You never should have let this person go. Interesting. So this won't apply to everyone, but for some twin flames here, I am picking up on a masculine who it's like feeling this just overwhelm of regrets for letting the divine feminine slip away, whether this is a lessening in their physical interaction in communication or a literal 3D physical separation between them. What is this masculine feeling in regards to this regrets for the divine feminine walking away or for letting her slip away? Woman holding a heart in the upright position. You are the one who holds my heart. Contract in the reverse position. So for many, there was some kind of karmic contract at play here for this masculine. I'm hearing like, divine feminine, you hold and you've always held my heart, but this other thing had me somehow trapped. It's like you had my heart, but this had my world, if that makes sense. So I feel as though this masculine for a long time, or even to the present, was in some kind of karmic contract situation or energy, which could be a relationship, a third party, but it could also equally be some kind of negative, limiting pattern of belief or behavior within this masculine that created interference within your twin flame connection. I'm hearing it created this interference long before the divine feminine actually chose to raise her standards, set her boundaries, withdraw or walk away, if that is relevant to you. It's like I hear her saying, masculine, you created this separation first. Even if I was the one who landed the final blow here, or I was the one who withdrew myself or my energy or walked away, it was you that created this interference. And I feel this masculine is speaking about this right now in the reading because he's realizing the fact that it's his past choice to remain stuck in these karmic energies or cycles that continue to create this energetic interference that then caused the divine feminine to feel the need to pull away. But it's like this feeling of divine feminine, this thing it's this weird energy of this karmic situation, again, whether it's a pattern, an addiction, a person. The masculine is like this karmic thing had so much of my physical focus and so much of my energy. And so I know that you, divine feminine, felt undervalued because you saw me giving so much time, focus, or attention to this other thing that was creating interference between us. But the ironic thing is here, it's like that thing had all of his attention, all of his focus, all of his physical 3D world, and a lot of his time and existence here in this world, on this planet. But all along, divine feminine, you had his heart. So because this masculine was giving so much time, focus, or attention to things that were not connected with his heart, because divine feminine, you were the one with this heart, it's like he feels like he was living soullessly through life, like living without heart and soul, devoid of true feeling and authentic connection, because he was giving so little time, focus, and attention to exactly the thing, and really the only thing that truly held his heart, which was you, divine feminine. So I'm going to pull a few more messages here from this masculine. The word struggle came out here, and also the word must, and must do. So I'm feeling there could be some feeling of obligation coming up for this masculine. For some, this could be this sense of needing to tie up loose ends with some kind of karmic pattern or situation. There's a feeling of obligation that could be getting in the way for someone. I do feel for many, this is some other person that could be reliant on them. For some, I'm hearing this is literally financial or material dependence on this masculine that could be going back to that kind of weight on his shoulders, but this won't be necessarily the way it applies for everyone. And also, this dependence may not be romantic in nature. This could be feeling like a boss is dependent on him, or even that his coworkers are dependent on him, his friends, his social group, his family. Why is this masculine struggling here? Yeah, cornucopia in the reverse. I feel that, and again, this won't be for everyone, but if you have a masculine who's caught in a little bit of this feeling of obligation regarding someone who is dependent on them, I feel that this masculine wants you to know that although he might be tying up loose ends with this person or situation, trying to, I'm hearing separate, it's like untangle himself from this situation or person of dependence, it's not what he wants. It's like he feels as though he's acting directly against what he wants here, and the cards were kind of going crazy, which is why I paused there for a second. And the deceit card is the one that came out through all of that chaos, but it came out in the reverse position. So once again, it's like the truth is being revealed on so many levels. I'm talking both externally, it's like no past illusions, or if there were lies or forms of active deceit, none of that can survive anymore. There cannot be that kind of deceitful, illusory energy anymore between you and this masculine while you are interacting in the physical, which could be why, as this masculine ties up these loose ends or fully heals out of these old patterns and situations, why there is, for some, a separation in the physical perpetuated between you, because it's like, divine feminine, you've raised your energy, and the masculine now has followed in kind and raised his energy so far as well, that these lower vibrational dynamics, this deceit, this confusion, this chaos, it simply cannot exist between you in the same way anymore. But this masculine does desire to break free of whatever has, again, created this interference or caused these, ultimately created this separation between you, divine feminine, and him. Journey and financial constraints, both in the upright position. I'm on a journey to freedom. That's what I hear this masculine saying. I heard going against the grain, fighting against something, struggling against something. It's almost like this masculine, going back to that imagery of just awakening through his spiritual awakening into his physical body. And it's almost that feeling of waking up and seeing things clearly for the first time. I feel that part of this dynamic of waking up is applying to simply realizing that the way he's been being, living, working, interacting with others, again, that it was so devoid of his true heart and soul, whether that's in a broader, more general sense, or specifically because his daily life didn't involve or doesn't involve as much connection with the one who has truly held his heart, the divine feminine. There is this feeling of still being bound, but on the journey to breaking free. I heard a masculine saying, I feel like I failed. I feel like I failed you, divine feminine. Why is there a masculine feeling like he failed the divine feminine? Angel of balance in the reverse position. I was so overwhelmed by the intensity of our love that I was in a state of imbalance that created imbalanced situations between the two of us, imbalance between the give and take of our connection. I didn't realize how much that I was asking of you emotionally and materially to remain connected with me in the way that you were in the past. And I am now realizing, appreciation in reverse, how I didn't value or appreciate you the way that you deserved. And the thinking man upright, and I was living dominantly from a state of my ego, but I didn't even realize it was ego. I thought it was just the way I was supposed to act. For some, this is a paradigm, a belief system of how they were supposed to act as a man or a masculine energy. So perhaps they felt as though they were supposed to be cold, or they were supposed to be more withdrawn or guarded, not as open about their emotions. I hear him saying it's like, I was taught that in order to be seen as a true man or a true masculine energy, I had to avoid vulnerability at all costs because vulnerability was weakness. So there could have been a masculine who was raised in some form of very traditional belief system or environment where they were ingrained with a very strong sense of, I just keep hearing like what it means to be a man or what it means to be a masculine energy. Yeah, and yin yang reversed. Wow, very, very strong twin flame energy from this reading. And the reason this card is coming out reversed now when it came out upright earlier is because now this card is speaking to this masculine, talking about how he created imbalance between himself and the divine feminine in the past. I just keep hearing silent realizations. It's like I feel for many masculines there is this energy of potentially not fully communicating about the realizations they've had, and yet it's like they're being pummeled on the internal plane by one realization after another about past circumstances in their life, many of which for many of you will involve the divine feminine directly, in which they feel they played a role in creating some kind of disconnect or separation that they feel a lot of regret about, and that they are really reevaluating this, creating this, again, this reprioritization of their values in life and with the divine feminine specifically. And what this is really doing also with door to spirit upright is really powerfully opening their intuition. Again, it's like seeing things clearly. There's something about this masculine's eyes coming up. So something about their eyes may stand out to you. This may have been a way that you recognized them in the beginning, but I'm also hearing a change in the eyes. So this is so hyper specific. This will probably just be for one or two people, but I'm getting for some divine feminines, you've always been able to read your masculine so easily through his eyes. But in the beginning, there was this kind of warmth or softness or love through his eyes that you could feel. It's like you could feel his alignments with himself and therefore with you energetically. But over time, there could have been moments where you looked into his eyes and there was this coldness or this frustration or this anger. It was a different kind of look, and you could sense on a soul level that what you were really seeing was this masculine's lack of balance and lack of alignment with his true self. And it could have been really painful for you to watch this change or to see this change happen in your masculine. But now it's like there's this reversal of all of that. It's like there is this releasing of those energetic blocks in this masculine that caused him to appear differently to you, to seem more frustrated or colder or more even angry, for some angry at life or angry at themselves or their circumstances, whatever the case may have been. There is this softening, this reopening to love happening within the masculine through, once again, the Deceit card reversed, through this realization of the truth. It's like I feel that many masculines could have been involved in the past in some form of active deceit within your connection, or just a hiding, a masking of the truth that was really frustrating to the divine feminine. But what many divine feminines don't realize is this masculine at the soul level was actually hiding from himself and from his own truth. So now it's like that whole dynamic is being reversed. This masculine is realizing powerful truths within himself that are going to impact how he shows up in all areas of life, including within this connection. And with Caring Connections reversed, I do feel that some of these points of past self-deceit for this masculine could have been specifically about people in his life who he may have thought highly of, or who he may have thought cared about him or had love for him, but now he's realizing that these people didn't get him. They didn't really understand who he was beneath the surface. They may have understood who he was trying to present to them inauthentically, inorganically, but they weren't really seeing the truth of who he was, the way that the divine feminine always has and still does. So that is bringing about, with the sacral chakra upright, this opening of the masculine, this ability to be vulnerable. I actually sense him feeling very emotional as he's realizing all of this and going through this healing process. And really what this is doing is opening his ability to be vulnerable with the divine feminine, to let down his walls and to really open to unconditional love, with Angel of Love in the upright position. So in the extended version of this reading, I am going to be channeling how this sacral chakra opening for this masculine is resulting in his healing, with Healer of the Ages reversed and Yin Yang reversed, resulting in a personal healing, but also impacting his twin flame connection as well. So potential ways he may shift in his communication, interaction, etc. within his twin flame connection as a result of this sacral chakra opening. So the link to the extended with those messages again is in the pinned comment and description box. And as I was speaking there, the goddess of the moon came out in the upright position, signifying that the divine feminine is wanting to come through here with some messages, because we have been speaking predominantly to the divine masculine throughout this reading so far. Also, I did see the number 3344, also the number 55, if any of those repeating numbers are significant to someone. So what is going on in the energy of the divine feminine right now? 6th chakra in the upright position. So it makes sense that the divine feminine would be having her own increased opening of her intuition and her third eye, because we saw these conscious spiritual downloads and realizations happening for the masculine, which we will be getting into more in the extended, which we spoke on earlier. We touched a little bit earlier how the masculine is having this realization regarding the connection, but not just the connection, his life generally. It's like he's waking up to so many things in his life through this spiritual opening and healing that is happening through him. Now, the divine feminine has been much more connected with her intuition for a long time within this connection, because, as we often say, the masculine tends to dominate, be stronger in the lower chakra energies, whereas the feminine tends to be dominant in the upper chakra energies, including the third eye. So her intuition tends to be naturally more open, which is why we tend to get the impression that the divine feminine is awakening faster, which really isn't necessarily the case. The energy is shifting simultaneously for both twins. It's just that for the masculine, a lot of these shifts happen through the more dense energy centers, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus even, whereas for the feminine, they happen in a more visible way through the throat chakra, the third eye, the crown chakra. So what kind of realizations are the divine feminine having right now? What realizations are coming up for the feminine here? The name Jeff came out for someone. Also the words laugh and clearly. I'm hearing humor with the word laugh could be really significant in your twin flame connection. With the word clearly, I feel like this divine feminine is seeing something clearly. Really, I actually heard seeing herself clearly. I feel for some divine feminines, there's this energy where she may have used to look in the mirror, and this may still come up from time to time, but it has healed a lot. I feel she used to look in the mirror and just pick herself apart or not really feel confident or happy about what she saw. It's almost literally like her reflection, but in the spiritual sense, there was that same kind of dynamic. You could think of it like a metaphor. It's like I looked in the mirror spiritually or within myself, and I picked myself apart. There's like a lot of self-criticism happening here in the past for this feminine. I felt like I was never quite enough, or something was never quite right. Like I just see someone like constantly fixing little things in the mirror, but this is metaphoric. It means like this divine feminine always had this edginess, this sense that she wasn't enough, or that something about her wasn't worthy or wasn't enough or needed to be changed. But now it's like that is shifting. Her self-image is shifting. She's realizing just how powerful and worthy and beautiful at every level of her being, beginning with her energetic beauty, the beauty of her energetic radiance and openness of her heart. With adjacent possibilities reversed and caring connections reversed, there is this strong feeling of raising her standards around all forms of relationship and connection. This includes, of course, both platonic and romantic connections. And speaking her mind with all tied up in the reverse. Yeah, what I'm getting from this feminine is she may have in the past had this energy of going along to get along, as we say. It's like molding herself or lowering her standards to remain connected with people, platonically or romantically, in her life, who may have either not had her best interest in mind, or who she may have again just diluted herself for, or dimmed her light for, to make them feel more comfortable. But now this is happening no more. Throat chakra in the upright position, all tied up reversed. It's like this breaking free. I see in the past, it's like there's this swallowing of her feelings or her words through the throat chakra, like not expressing what she really thinks or feels. But now it's like her throat chakra has been activated to the point where she is no longer willing to be silenced, or to silence herself to make other people feel more comfortable, or to feel as though she's fitting in with the social dynamic or the relationship dynamic, or whatever the case may be. It's like this feeling of, I would rather be alone. And I feel this playing in even to friendships for some. There could be this feeling of, I feel a bit alone in regards to not having attracted in a lot of a community in terms of friendships. But I feel this feminine saying, I would rather have a small inner circle or be alone than surround myself with people who require me to dim my lights or dilute my truth in order to remain connected with them. And it's a really beautiful energy from this divine feminine. I also would like to, in the extended, channel some higher self messages for the Divine Feminine. So these will be messages from her higher self, from her spirit guides, the universe, whatever divine forces you personally connect with as the Divine Feminine. I find these messages to be really insightful and helpful to really get us connected with the truth of our soul, with the higher level big picture of our life and current life situations. So again, the link to those extended messages is in the pinned comment and description box. So now I am going to be channeling some higher self-love messages from both the masculine and the feminine. I just saw the number 4040 if that connects with someone. Also the word pine trees could be significant to a person. So let's begin with the Divine Feminine. What does the Divine Feminine want to say to the masculine? Broken hearts in the upright position. I feel this speaking to a past energy of heartbreak. I hear her saying, Divine Masculine, in this physical lifetime, in this physical world, you broke my hearts. Door to personal healing and happiness in the reverse position. And I know that this brokenheartedness happened because we both, on an individual level, were not healed to the point of being able to sustain such a powerful and intense connection. And so when such a connection came into our lives with first chakra reversed, the root chakra, this speaks to foundations being shaken. It's like we completely rocked each other's world. We shook each other to the core, but also this intense connection simply caused us to feel so uncertain within ourselves because of that, because everything was being shaken up in our world. And I know that Divine Masculine, this affected you even more intensely because while I may have had more clarity through the upper chakra centers, I may have been more open in my intuition, more able to vocalize with my throat chakra being open, more open to the divine with my crown chakra. I know that Divine Masculine, you dominate the lower chakra centers. So you are more focused on the material, the stable, the familiar. You really value these things. And at the same time, you, from a spiritual perspective, even though we do awaken at the same time energetically, you were less awakened in the sense that you were less connected to your divine path in this life. And with contract reverse, you were still caught in these karmic contract situations that were all again being shaken by our powerful, intense love. And I know, Divine Masculine, that although I felt a lot of pain and heartbreak, I know at the same time that you have felt shaken too, that you have been in pain too, because you've been watching your whole life get overturned by the intensity of our love and the resulting transformations happening that are at times for you painful and confusing and uncertain. And it throws all of the things that are familiar in your life into question. With cornucopia reversed, it's like we didn't get what we both wanted. And on a soul level, although my 3D self at times questions whether or not you even want this at all, I know on a soul level that we share the same pure soul desires for our future and for our connection together. There's something here about, though, like it just wasn't right at the time. Like the timing here wasn't right because with 7th chakra reversed, because a powerful, intense spiritual connection like ours requires of us nothing less than total alignments with our highest version of self, with it, which is really just a strong commitment to continuously allowing ourselves to be pushed upward onto that path of limitless expansion. And I feel that in the past there was this fear to fully committing to the expansion of this connection, because in that expansion there are growing pains, there are uncomfortable points in time, there is at times confusion, unfamiliarity, and especially for the masculine, with Healer of the Ages reversed, there was a lot of fear associated with the unfamiliar that this twin flame connection was bringing in. But I feel his divine masculine counterpart here through these higher self-love messages, calling him to continue committing to his own spiritual path, his own growth. A recognition that yes, the unfamiliar is terrifying to him, and she recognizes that on a soul level. But at the same time, she is admonishing him to continue allowing himself to be shaken to the core, in the sense that anything that must be shaken loose from his life will fall, will naturally fade out of his life. And he must have the strength, the courage to continue to, with indecision in the reverse, fully commit, not in the sense of fully committing to a person or a specific relationship or love connection, but committing to his own limitless growth and expansion, committing to the truth within himself, to clearly seeing and embodying that truth, which of course ultimately will lead to bringing these two twin flames together closer in the physical as well. It's inevitable, because as one continues to align with their highest path, calls the other towards that same alignment, and both are really beginning to embody that highest version of themselves. Twin flames have no choice but, in their highest vibrational state, to align physically with one another in whatever way that personally applies to them, because we do have unique intentions for that physical 3D reconnection, realignment that we often call reunion with our twin flame. Beautiful, beautiful messages from this divine feminine. So now I'm going to be channeling higher self-love messages from the masculine. The word dog came out, so someone might have a dog here, and I almost dropped the cards here because one card came out so powerfully, and it was the door to value in the upright position. I feel this strong masculine presence from this card, this feeling of divine feminine, I am showing up, I am present, I am here with you. Can't you feel me in your consciousness beginning to rise, beginning to fully show up? And again, this may not be showing physically. I'm not necessarily talking 3D right now. I'm talking about an energy shift that is occurring within this masculine. And the most strong message I hear from this card is, divine feminine, I see it now. I see the worth. I see the value. I see what's really important. What else does this divine masculine want to say to the divine feminine? The thinking woman in the upright position. I admire you for rising in your power, for really beginning to stand in your confidence. And specifically with communication, I see, whether this masculine is verbalizing this or not, I see him really admiring how the divine feminine is really becoming more confident with her voice. Whether this is literally speaking her mind more confidently, or whether this is expressing herself creatively through her voice. Voice meaning this could be written words, it could be artwork, it could be music, whatever the case is. I'm feeling a very strong, potentially silent, but very strong admiration from this masculine. Goddess of the moon in the upright position. Once again, it's this feeling of, I see you, divine feminine, meaning I am so strongly aware on a soul level of you standing in your power. And I'm now aware also that with heartbreak, broken heart in the upright position, I feel the masculine responding to what the feminine was just speaking about having her heart broken by him or by this situation in the past. And I hear him with temple path reverse saying, I know now, I acknowledge that I broke your heart because I was not walking the path that I was supposed to, or that I chose to on a soul level walk in this life. I was not, in other words, aligned with my highest version of self. Adjacent possibilities reversed, but now it's like I see no other option or way forward but through the confusion, through the uncertainty, through the releasing of these karmic patterns in cycles, and ultimately to you, divine feminine. So beautiful messages coming from both counterparts here. And in the extended, I will be channeling more higher self and 3D messages and information from both counterparts. Specifically, I will be speaking to the karmic contracts or energies that could still be impacting this masculine, or that he could be releasing from his life, because that card came out here as well. So the link to all of that additional information is in the pinned comment and description box. But for now, I'm going to close this reading by pulling one final card from the Rumi Oracle. So what is one final message for twin flames connecting with this reading? She offers the sacred wine, so drink. A lot of beautiful divine feminine power radiating from this card. And I'm going to close this reading by just reading a little bit from the guidebook here. Beloved, you are being offered a gift that is beyond your understanding. This gift is from the hand of the divine beloved, an offering to you that will lift you beyond what you have known into the next opening of your inner eye, of your hearts, of your soul, so that it may caress the earth with the lights of heaven. Come, put aside that seriousness for a moment or more, and allow the wild child in you to take your body and soul for a spin. Together, let's go and paint the town the color of love. You must be willing to not have all the answers, or indeed any answers at all, my wise soulmates, and trust that this is according to the higher plan and not some inadequacy or error. Oh, what a journey this is to be for you. So that feels like a perfect place to close this reading. I really hope it resonated with you, and if so, do be sure to leave me a comment and let me know which messages connected to you personally. And of course, only take what resonates and leave the rest. Always use your intuition as your highest guide. In the extended version of this reading, we will be addressing all of the points that came up that we spoke on earlier in the reading, which are listed in the pinned comment and description box if you would like a refresher on what we will be channeling in the extended. So for those of you continuing on to the Patreon reading, I will now be joining you there. For the rest of you, I really hope you have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in the next reading.